Welcome back to Scottish Movies, and it's time to see what I watched in August of 2022. Let's get started. Okay, so what did I watch in August? I watched 14 movies this month. I think that's actually the same as July. There was 7 movies I hadn't seen and 7 rewatches. There was 2 cinema trips included in that, and 2 movies I watched on streaming. First movie I watched then was a Blu-ray I've owned for quite a while, and it's an Owen Wilson film called No Escape from 2015. This is basically a movie I have seen a couple of times before. I think it's a very good movie. Basically, Owen Wilson and his family moved to Asia with his job, and while they're there, there's like a sort of political coup. Like a president's assassinated, and they get kind of caught up in the middle of it, and basically then they're just trying to get out of the country. It's also got Pierce Brosnan in it, and yeah, it's a really underrated action movie, sort of action drama, and I really like No Escape. I hadn't watched it for a while, and when you just pick something out your collection, and I just thought I fancy rewatching that. And I give 7.5 out of 10 for No Escape. I think it's very good movie, and if you've not seen it, it's highly worth checking out. Next thing I watched is on streaming on Disney Plus, and it was Prey. Obviously the new Predator movie. This is obviously like a kind of prequel set like about 300 years ago in like the 1700s, with like a Comanche tribe taking on the Predator, and this is a great movie. This should have gone to the cinemas. I do think it would have done really well. It's probably the second best Predator movie out there, I would say. Not probably, definitely is. Obviously behind the original. It's just, I thought it was great. It's everything you wanted in a Predator movie, really. If you've not seen Prey yet, get onto Disney Plus, check it out. Highly recommended. Third movie I've seen was a slasher movie from 1997. This is a film I have seen before back in the day. I think it was 1997. And this sort of followed on from Scream, when the sort of slasher movie came back, and it's the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now I've got to say I've not watched this probably since the 90s. I picked up a sort of a triple movie pack on Blu-ray a month or two back, and I thought I'm gonna check out the I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. So I rewatched the first one. It's a good movie, but I've got to say, the movie Scary Movie kind of ruined Scream for me, in the sense that it's just like almost like a word for a remake of Scream, but it's a comedy style. And there's so much of that movie as well. It has got like I Know What You Did Last Summer bits in it. I knew there's a couple, but because I'd not seen it for so long, I'd forgotten. And there was bits in I Know What You Did Last Summer. I was just laughing because it was just a scary movie all over again. But it's not a bad slasher. It's worth a watch. Obviously got Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I think Sarah Michelle Gellar's in there as well. It's an easy on the eye movie, and give that 6 out of 10. The next movie I watched was another Alfred Hitchcock film. I've been watching a couple of these recently, been picking them up, and I watched Rope. starring James Stewart. Yeah, this was another great Alfred Hitchcock film. I give this one 7 out of 10 as well. It's basically these two guys sort of murder a colleague, or I think he's a friend or a colleague, and they kind of hold this. They put him in a box and they kind of hold this party where all these people at this party sort of when this guy's there in a box and they've got like they set like a table over on top of this box, and James Stewart turns up and he thinks there's something suspicious going on, and trying to basically find out what's going on, and he suspects something funny's going on, and that's how the story goes really. But yeah, it was a really good movie. It's set in like sort of one place as well, like just in this like apartment, and yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Yeah, as I say, I give that one 7 out of 10. The next movie, the fifth movie I've seen in August, is another rewatch. And I dug my Blu-ray out because I think the 4K recently came out of this movie, and I'd not seen it for a while, and I just thought, you know what, I fancy giving it another watch, and it's Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow with Emily Blunt as well. This is basically a sort of sci-fi Groundhog Day action movie, and yeah, I really enjoy this movie. Actually, it's been quite a few years since I've seen it, and yeah, you have a lot of fun with it, and it's yeah, it's if you like sort of action, you like sci-fi, and you like a bit of Groundhog Day type action, it's definitely worth checking out. And yeah, I do really enjoy it, and I give that 8 out of 10. Next one I checked out was again another rewatch of a film I'd not seen for a long time. Now, this was a DVD. I recently got a job lot of DVDs, and I was getting rid of some and sort of relist them on the site, sort of you know, the ones I don't want. And on top of this pile of these ones I don't want was Jason Statham movie Crank, and I was getting the bag out to move them on, and I just saw it and I thought, you know what, I've not watched Crank for ages, and I thought I fancy giving it a watch. And yeah, it's just a dumb, fun Jason Statham movie. He's basically plays this guy that if his heart slows down, he dies, and he has to keep on running, keep the adrenaline going, and he just gets into all sorts of crazy scrapes, and even spawned a sequel, so you get another hour and a half in a sequel as well, which I don't actually own that. I have seen it, but yeah, it was a bit of fun. I just fancied it, just a drum action movie, and I give Crank 6 out of 10. I didn't keep the DVD. I do want to probably look out if there's a Blu-ray of it. I don't know if there is in this country, but I'm going to try and find Crank 2 now, though, just because I fancy watching that again. Yeah, that was Crank. Next one I watched, getting back to I Know What You Did Last Summer. I got me box it out again, and I watched I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, I thought I'd seen this back in the day. I was convinced I must have watched this, and I hadn't. It turns out, no. I think what it was, I'd heard bad things about it, and it's a pretty bad slasher movie sequel. Well, I actually quite enjoyed it. I didn't, as I say, I've only heard bad things, and I thought it was all right. To be fair, I did sort of quite enjoy it. It's not the greatest film in the world. Like I say, it was all right, and it was basically the same characters or the surviving characters from the first film, heading off to like I think it was Barbados or somewhere, and obviously the old guy with the hooks follows them there, and yeah, it's just a classic slasher movie, really. I was surprised actually. Jack Black was even in this movie. I don't think he was credited, but I was surprised when I seen him turn up. As I say, I think it was probably when I saw him that I realised, yeah, you know what, I've not seen this movie. I would have remembered Jack Black. But yeah, so I give I Still Know What You Did Last Summer 5 out of 10. And that's actually where the those movies ended for this month. I've not watched the third movie, which I believe is really bad, and it's not got any of the original characters in it. But yeah, I'm not in a mega rush to watch that one. But maybe next month we'll see. Next film I saw was my first cinema trip of August, and that was to watch Fisherman's Friends 2. Now I've done an actual separate review of Fisherman's Friends 2 on my channel. I was a big fan of the original. This one wasn't quite as good. I did enjoy it though. And I think I'd give that 7 out of 10. But I say, if you want to see the full review of that, yeah, check out the video on my channel. Next one, 9th film of the month, is yet another rewatch. A classic Nicolas Cage, and I really love these movies. And I watched again National Treasure. Now I don't think I did with Blu-ray. I think I just watched this on Disney Plus actually. Shame on Scott there not getting his physical copy out. But sometimes it's just easier if you see it on streaming. It's easier to just press play basically. But yeah, so I watched National Treasure again. Really love this movie. I give that 8 out of 10. I've seen it loads of times. And I love the sequel as well. I think they're just as good. And it's just great fun. And looking forward to the future series that comes out. I know it's not going to have Nicolas Cage in it, but I know it's got the I can't remember the actor's name, but it's got like the character Riley in it, which could be pretty good. But yeah, that was National Treasure. Next film I saw was, again, this was on Disney Plus as well, because I don't actually own a physical copy of this movie, and I think it was late at night, and I watched something I'd seen before, and it was just an easy watch, and it was Hot Tub Time Machine with John Cusack, and who's the other guys in it? I think it's Rob Corddry and Clark Duke, I think it's from 2010, if I remember rightly. Yeah, I'd like my time travel movies. This is a bit of fun. Like I said, I'd not seen it for a while. It's basically a time travel movie that you go back to when they were younger in the 80s, so it's got a lot of 80s references in there as well. And if you've not seen Hot Tub Time Machine, I would recommend it. It's a bit of fun. It's good fun film. I give that 6 out of 10. I don't recommend its sequel. I've only seen that once. I don't think John Cusack came back for that one. I thought that was awful. But yeah, first one is worth a look. And speaking of time travel, next film I watched is probably the ultimate time travel movie of all time, in my opinion. And having picked up the 4K Japanese HMV limited edition steelbook, I watched Back to the Future. Yeah, there's not much more you can say about Back to the Future that no one knows. Classic movie. I absolutely adore the trilogy. It's probably my second favourite trilogy we've had behind the original Star Wars trilogy of all time. Yeah, the 4K was great as well. Just because I've not seen it in 4K, obviously I wanted to check it out. I am going to be picking up the 4K box set in the future. Some point, it's going to be interesting to watch the sequels. The only surprising thing was this, is that I didn't watch the sequels straight after, which I normally do when I watch Back to the Future, but it was pretty late. And yeah, that's Back to the Future. 9.5 out of 10 on that. Classic movie. Next film was another cinema trip. I went with my little girl to Cineworld just last weekend, and I checked out the DC League of Super Pets. It was I got myself a free ticket, I think, because a bit I don't know, Cineworld must have had like an offer on or something, and they sent me a free ticket. So I said to her, do you want to go to cinema? There's not a lot out, considering it's summer and the kids are off school. There's not a lot out for kids. There was that or Minions, and that was it, which I was quite surprised. I think they've missed a trick there. I don't know why there's not more kids films out there at the moment. But yeah, I watched the League of Super Pets, and yeah, it was good fun. My daughter enjoyed it. She's not really got into any kind of superhero films or anything at the minute, but she knows like your Batman and your Superman and everything. And obviously these like the pets of those superheroes, and yeah, it was a bit of fun. Quite enjoyed it, and yeah, give that 6 out of 10 as well. Next one I watched was on Netflix, and this was a comedy. Well, they called it a comedy anyway. It's a new film starring Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg, and it was called Me Time. Mm, yeah, it was okay. I wouldn't watch it again. It's a classic streaming film, really. Despite the fact it was a comedy, I've seen both these guys starring and in other comedy films, and they're a hell of a lot better than this. Um, yeah, it wasn't the best, but yeah, I'll give that 5 out of 10. It's definitely a streaming movie, I would say. And that brings me to the final film I watched this month, and with the new, what I believe now is a prequel that's come out in the cinema recently, I decided to check out Orphan. Um, yeah, I picked this up in a charity shop on DVD for like 25p the other weekend. Again, because I seen it was a new one coming out, I thought, you know what, I've never seen Orphan, and I went in this completely blind. I didn't know anything about it at all, and this was a quality horror movie. I really really enjoyed Orphan. I do want to now watch the second one, which, like I said, I believe is a prequel. Um, yeah, but Orphan, the first one, I thought it was brilliant. It's been a long time since I've watched a, a horror movie that I enjoyed probably as much as this. I think it was probably because I went into it completely blind and not knowing anything, and yeah, it's no, the stuff in there happens in it. I just didn't see it coming. I didn't have a clue. Um, but yeah, it's basically about this girl that gets sort of adopted by this couple, and it reminded me of The Omen in ways, but with sort of a slightly older girl, and yeah, it's just I can't really say much about it without giving spoilers away, but yeah, if you've not seen Orphan, which I'm sure you probably have, on the fact it come out in, I think it was 2009. But if you've not seen it, yeah, definitely check it out. And as I say, I'm going to be checking out the sequel soon, or prequel even. And I give Orphan 8 out of 10. Yeah, really enjoyed that film. And yeah, that is the end of what I watched in August 2022. Um, yeah, comment down below if you've seen any of these movies. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and click the notification bell for more videos like this. And I'll see you next month for some more what I watched in September. See you later, guys.